Hey book besties, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time seeing me, hi, I'm Ashley and I am so glad that you're here. Today we're talking about my top 5 least favorite books of 2024. You could say the worst books of 2024, but I choose to say the flop books. These books just maybe didn't reach a certain expectation or they were just bad, just not good. But once again, before we get started, this is my opinion. These are my opinions. I have multiple thoughts. If you have a similar opinion or a very, very different opinion, please let me know in the comments below. Because these are books that I did not like, if you loved them, please let me know why you loved them. Maybe you'll change my mind and maybe they'll become some of my top reads of the year. As always, grab a glass of your favorite drink and let's go ahead and get started. All right, we are starting off strong with book number 5 on the list. This is Daydream by Hannah Grace. Now, I know what you're thinking. Didn't this book just come out? Wasn't it such a highly anticipated story with Hallie and Henry? It was Henry's story from Icebreaker. And I would say yes. Yes, it is. It is their story. Is it cute? Yes. Did I want more? Absolutely. Don't get me wrong, I loved Hallie. I loved Hallie's character and I love Henry. I just think the book was just so slow paced. Not a lot was going on. And don't even get me started on that epilogue. I have to take a drink for that one. I don't know what it is with Hannah Grace's books. Girly, if you're watching this, your epilogues. I think I need to understand where they're coming from because the same character that I'm reading, the epilogue that you write is not that ending for the character that I'd imagined based on all the evidence you gave us. But I digress. Daydream's number 5. It's definitely the bottom 3 of her books in my opinion. Wildfire Superiority, Icebreakers because a classic, and Daydream just didn't meet those expectations for me. All right, in my number 4 book spot, I'm going to prelude this by saying it was a very disappointing year for me in fantasy. Crescent City 3 was on my top reads of 2025 if you want to go watch that video. It's linked below. And it was more so of the community that was built around it. I was really excited for the hype of it. Was it a good book? Not necessarily. It didn't deserve to be on this list of bottom 5, I'll tell you that much. But you know what fantasy book does deserve to be on the list of bottom 5? Iron Flame. This monstrosity of a book that went through no edits, none whatsoever. And we got 3/4 of just bickering back and forth of Xaden and Violet having the exact same argument back and forth and back and forth. Seriously, what was that? I love Rebecca's ability to make us love or hate a character in very, very few pages, to the point where that specific character's death, no spoilers here, really affects us as readers. Like, Rebecca, that is incredible writing. I don't really know any author that can do that in as many pages as you do. Kudos. With that being said, I am very excited for Onyx Storm coming out on January 20th. Or 21st, technically. I'm going to midnight release party on the 20th, so it basically comes out the 20th for me. I'm very excited. I will be doing a deep dive into Iron Flame and Fourth Wing with all of the theories and all the spoilers coming up, so stay tuned for that. I'll also be going to, like I said, the midnight release of Onyx Storm. I'll also be doing a live read 24 hours straight of Onyx Storm, so you can see all the reactions. And dear God, I hope this book has been edited. I have so much hope and I'm so excited for this book to be better than the last. Please. I'm begging, because it's such an epic fantasy world, but what was this book? Moving along, because I have an entire video where I'm going to trauma dump the experience of reading Iron Flame. Number 3 marketed itself as a cozy fall read, so it's exactly what I did. Me being a Gilmore Girls fanatic, I was so excited to read The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore. Needless to say, I was disappointed. If I was to describe this book in one sentence for my friends, and I did, this is my synopsis. The author wrote a fanfic of Gilmore Girls, and she made herself Lorelai, and Luke was still Luke. So she made herself fall in love with Luke in this town of Jean Harbor under the names of Jeannie and Logan, and it was not good. It felt so off. because the main character, Jeannie, nothing like Lorelai, really at all. And the character of Logan, one was named Logan, so like that just completely threw me off because I pictured Logan Huntsberger at my Gilmore Girl fans. But it had all of the characteristics of Luke, down to wearing plaid and baseball caps all the time, and loathing going to town hall meetings, and being the grumpy Gus, and literally refusing to have like any kind of cheerful, happy conversation because he just wants to get to work. A lot of my friends and I were trying to have a book club around this, and I suggested, like, hey, let's read this one. It's super cute. I've heard great things about it on Book Talk, and none of us could pick it up. We tried, and it took me a year before I finally able to pick it up and finish it, and I kind of wish that I hadn't. All right, book number 2 on this list is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. Let me start out by saying I loved Love Hypothesis. I thought it was super, super cute. It was a little bit sciencey and geeky, which I'm a huge science and geek nerd. My dad works for NASA, like huge nerd. I was so excited for that book, loved it. So excited for this book, major disappointment. She is a theoretical physicist. She's trying to find, a full-time job as a research professor, so she's able to research her chosen field of study. That's the word to use in the academic fields. And on the side, because she needs money because she's a graduate student, is a hired, I'm going to use the word escort, but only for dating. Like nothing else. She just, is a hired fake girlfriend, essentially. So really cute premise until you get to know the character of Elsie. She describes herself and her personality of 3 things. She loves theoretical physics, cheese, and Twilight. That is millennial cringe. She had the emotional development of a 13-year-old as a full-grown adult and a theoretical physicist. Any of these books I've talked about today, please, if these are your favorite books, prove me wrong. I want to be proved wrong so bad. Put it in the comments. Tell me why you love it. Convince me. Change my mind. I have such an open mind. Please let me know. I'm here. I'm patiently waiting with my drinking drink. And I just spilled all of that. Okay, moving right along. Before I get to my number 1 flop read of 2024, I'm going to give an honorable mention to a book that didn't make the list. It got cut off by 1, but I still wanted to talk about it. And that's a beloved book by many people out there. So sorry it's on this list. It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. I've tried reading Tessa Bailey books, and I understand people who love them. I've loved a couple of them. I love the sequel of this way more than this original book itself. It was just so bad. There was no timeline in this book. Everything was supposed to happen within a summer, so 2 to 3 months. The things that were happening were days and weeks stacked upon each other. And it's do you know you have 6 weeks? Do you know you only have 30 minutes? 30 minutes. There was one scene she was talking about, the main character getting, with the guy, and she had spent the weekend there. And she said that she had fallen into a routine. She was there for 1 day, but they had fallen into a routine. Girly pop. 1 day is not a routine. You cannot build a routine on 1 day. You can, stay there for 1 day and feel super welcome and super loved and super homey, but you cannot build a routine after 1 day. Give it 2, give it 3, give it 4, maybe. Give it a week. I would say a week. A routine after a week. Anyway, y'all can tell I'm very passionate about my dislike for this book. All right, for my number 1 top flop of 2024, drum roll please. But number 1 top slot put me into a fantasy rut for 6 months, maybe more actually. And that book is A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. I was so excited to read these books. Poppy seemed like such a badass female main character. I was so excited to get to know Poppy. I was so excited to get to hear her baddie love story with Castile. I was so excited when I tell you. I was so excited. And just let me down. Blood and Ash in itself was hard to get to, but still enjoyable. I was able to call certain things of the foreshadowing. I called the big plot twist for the most part. And I was genuinely having a pretty decent time. Was it a little hard to get through? Yes. Was it long and was it overrun? Yes. But it picked up and I, eventually was okay, I'll read the second one. Got to the second one and it was, once again, miscommunication after miscommunication after miscommunication. These characters were not talking to each other despite being literally strapped together and connected to each other for the entire book and now for the entire rest of their lives. And they just couldn't talk. They couldn't ask questions. They couldn't figure pardon my French, their shit out. And by the end of it, and I was so excited because I heard rumors of like a threesome later in the series, and I was like, ooh, sign me up. No, not at all. Not at all. Please let me know in the comments, is this book really that good? Is the series even better? Should I finish the series? I put this book down, did not even purchase the next of the series. I didn't pick up a fantasy book for 6 months because this brought everything out of me. Please let me know in the comments below, do I need to finish the series? If I don't, just tell me what happens. I'd love to know. I'd love to know because I'm nosy. All right, and those are my top 5 plus honorable mention flops of 2024. I am so excited to even begin my TBR of 25. I have so many good books on the list. I know I talked about doing Iron Flame, so after like this month, I'm going to go into all of Fourth Wing, all of Iron Flame, and into Onyx Storm. So get ready for January. Fantasy is back, baby. So please like, follow, subscribe to my channel. If any books on here are books that you loved or one of your friends loved or one of your friends also hated, please send it to them. Camaraderie in the hatred, or, come yell at me that I was wrong and that these books are amazing. I'll listen. I have an open mind. Convince me. This is an open forum to convince me that I'm wrong in these opinions. But until then, ciao, sayonara. I don't really know how to end this, so I'm just going to drink my wine.